Thank you for tuning in to an episode of InRange. What do we got here?
I don't know. That looks like some sort of... not nearly as good as a Shosha, whatever it is.
It is an MP18-I or .1 or comma I or comma 1.
There's a weird thing about that comma 1. There's comma 1s. There's the MP28, comma 2. I actually saw once an MP18, comma 3. That was a prototype at SIG. It was like an 8.85 millimeter. It was some weird experimental cartridge.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, let's first of all thank Kurt from Bear Arms in Scottsdale, Arizona. These are rare. This is a World War I gun that's in functional order, and he runs Bear Arms in Scottsdale, Arizona. Great FFL, great gun store. If you're ever up in the area, check him out.
Definitely.
Cool dude. And he brought this out here all the way for us today to be able to use it on the camera for you. Now, this one was a World War I gun that's seen some modifications.
Right.
It has got a new safety up here, which actually locks the bolt forward. Without this, if you hit the gun hard enough, this bolt can actually bounce back, not quite engage the sear, and fire the gun. Oops, that's a bad day.
They call that the police safety on those.
Yep. And then they bring this back all the way and lock it very much like an MP40, which you see in World War II.
Right.
Now, the other thing they did is they got rid of that trommel drum mag thing.
What? But why?
But why? Because they don't work, right?
I don't know. It had 32 rounds. They went to freaking 20.
20 round mags, but maybe 20 reliable?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Now, that said, this would be the first practical submachine gun used in combat.
What? Nonsense. The Pedersen device was better, I'm sure.
Oh,
in every way.
Everyone knows this would have changed the war. The Germans would have won World War I, World War II, World War III, and something before it if they had this.
So the Italians did also have a submachine gun right about at the same time. They took the double-barrel Villaperosas, and Villaperosa and Beretta both converted those guns into single-barrel, shoulder-stocked, proper submachine guns. No one seems to have a lot of really good data on them. No one can say for sure whether, was this actually first or were the Italian ones first? These probably had more impact on the war, but these were only introduced by the Germans right at the very end. Frankly, when it was too late for them to have any real impact.
But the stormtroops did see a lot of effect with this. They found this to be an excellent weapon, and it changed the nature of warfare.
Yes, but not in time to do anything for Germany.
Right, so that's maybe why we know about this and not the Italian design, because this actually saw some real combat. Yeah. So what we've got downrange is we've got a full-size IDPA steel target at 20 yards.
Yeah, something like that.
Just about 20 yards, and we've got two 20-round mags, one for each of us. What I figured is we'll just dump the whole mag at that target, and then that'll give us the best idea of what this thing feels like to shoot.
You know what I like about that already? It's got a wooden stock, and it's about 105 degrees out here, and we've been shooting some other stuff, and everything with a metal stock is approximately face melting temperature right now.
Ah, that's nice.
The wood's warm, but it's not gonna melt your skin off, which...
So what we need is carbon fiber stocks.
Yeah.
All right, so let me go ahead and fire my mag, and then I'll give it to you, and then let's have them figure out what it feels like to shoot this thing. All right, so we've got the gun in the safety notch. Insert your magazine. Take the bolt out of the safety notch, engage the sear. Aim at the target. Well, one minor malfunction, but that does give us a feel about the rate of fire and how the gun is to control. I'm going to go ahead and say that that's extremely controllable. To put that back in the safety notch, I'm going to hand it off to you, Ian.
I don't think I've ever actually shot one of these before. Good.
Yep.
That is very slow shooting and controllable. Chunka, 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 chunka.
Exactly. You know what's interesting is we've shot a lot of submachine guns. That to me is as controllable as the Suomi M31.
It's darn close if it's not, yeah.
That has a high rate of fire and a muzzle brake.
Right.
This has a bunch of weight and a slow rate of fire.
Right. One of my measures is can you always see the front sight? Like while you are actively shooting, can you physically keep your attention or focus on the front sight? And with this you actually can, which is fairly rare.
Yeah, you don't really lose your situational awareness. I could see the target the whole time.
Right.
Which you can do with the M31 as well.
Yeah.
And I think when you find that sweet spot between weight of gun, whatever you're doing to mitigate recoil, rate of fire, that gives you this sweet spot where a submachine gun's truly viable and controllable or not.
Now, the balance point of this is like here.
Yeah, close.
It feels very far forward.
And
I think that's part of what helps control the muzzle climb.
That's interesting.
Is that it's rocking a bit, but the rate of fire is slow enough that recoil pulls it up, the bolt going forward tends to pull it back down by the time you actually fire the next shot.
It's a good point. It's a big, heavy bolt as well. And so one of the things with an open bolt gun is it goes this kerchunk, and that causes the gun to dip. But with the weight forward and the recoil, it really just sat there flat.
Yeah.
Both of us kept all the rounds on the target with no issue whatsoever.
Very expensive gun to manufacture.
Yes.
There's a first generation, well, first of the first generation of submachine guns. A lot of milling. And they would get rid of that, not because it didn't work well, it obviously did, but because they wanted to go to something that was cheaper, more industrial and mass producible.
Something like the MP38 and later MP40. Yep. Which will be in another video on InRange. Also courtesy of Kurt. Guys, if you like this stuff, thank you for supporting us on Patreon. You allow us to blow that ammo through a gun like this because it's all that ammo is because of you guys, and appreciate it. If you can't understand, just subscribe to one of our multiple distribution points. You can find them all at InRange.tv/watch. Thanks for watching.